Hello, everyone, and welcome to another great session. My name is Paul Atkinson. I am your certified professional coach that's going to be here today to provide you with answering that question. You're a brand new realtor. How do you compete with the experienced realtors? Today is jam-packed. It's going to be short. We won't keep it too long, but you're going to see some information that's going to blow you away. Be prepared to take some notes, even though this is a recorded and it will be stored on the platform for Agent Locator, where you could always go back and see what we've done. But today is a good day, and we want to provide you this information. Now, I might not need too much of a participant today because, I'm usually interactive. But just in case I do, let's just show hands who would be willing to participate and be some sort of volunteer for anything that we want. Are there anybody out there that would want to do that? Just put your hands up and Benisa, tell me if we have any. I'm just curious to know. And I'll get the slides up and let's make sure we turn off our cell phones and pay full attention. All right, so you should be seeing the screen. Everybody should be seeing the screen, and it says building a professional real estate service. Can anybody tell me, yes, are you seeing the screen or not?
Yes, we are.
Oh, wonderful. Should we let's give 5 minutes, for little stragglers. I like to do that. Benisa, maybe we can have a volunteer or two that would come up and tell us a little bit about themselves and how long they've been in business.
Sounds good. Keenan just wrote in the chat that he can see us, and if I'm not mistaken, he's a new agent locator client, but we can see if he's maybe willing to talk with us for a bit.
Perfect.
Not sure if he's new to real estate. Keenan, can you hear us?
Oh, hi, everybody.
Hi, Keenan.
Hi.
Welcome.
Yes,
How
so I've,
long? Go
hmm,
ahead. Introduce
no, go
yourself.
ahead.
Please take a moment, Keenan, and introduce yourself, as far as telling us how long you've been a real estate agent, what city or town, where are you, and what are your goals in your real estate business?
All right. So, well, my name's Keenan Fernandez. I have been, I've been in real estate since the past 18 years now. I'm in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, of course. I love what I'm doing. Um, I've been doing everything possible, starting with door knocking and flyers, farming in my area, and of course, been through a few coaches in the past, and um, and now I am with Agent Locator. I like what I saw, and I like the experience that I'm getting from them. Seems very um, involving, to use the right term, if that is the right term,
Yeah.
and yeah, pretty responsive as well. So looking forward to getting something out of this wonderful team.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And, I'm curious to know you've been in the business 18 years and something about today's topic intrigued you. And today's topic is you're a brand new realtor. It says, I am a brand new realtor. How do I compete with the experienced people? How would that define you? What would you say? Would you say even though you've been in the business 18 years, you still feel like there's a lot to learn or little to learn? What do you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's never an end to learning, actually. And I've mentioned in my one of the agent locator, uh, um, one of their blogs, so I think I mentioned it, saying that there's never a time when you've learned enough. You always pick out nuggets from any of these um, uh, chats that we've gone through and had in the past, and I've got a few uh, insights into something that's always good, basically. So there's no shortage of um, kind of learning.
Of course, wonderful. I'm going to throw into the chat one of our websites that everybody can have. It's called The Five Steps of, let's put that, Steps of the Sale. And that's where you could find out more about the work that I do there. It's the 5 steps of the sale. So just so you could learn more. The QR code is also there. If anybody wants to get in on a growth call, there's no obligation. There's nothing would be sold to you. It's just a matter of we giving you one 30-minute session for you to be able to have a one-on-one coaching with a CPC, a certified professional coach. So Nivi, can Nivi come up?
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you, Keenan, so much.
Thank you, Kina. Yeah.
I'm
No,
here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi,
How
Nivi.
are you doing today?
Very good. And you?
I'm very good. Thank you for asking.
Wonderful.
So, I just want to quickly say about myself. Yes, I am actually going to consider myself as pretty new. I went into this business about more than 3 years ago, and I'm basically a finance professional, and I have huge interest in this industry because from years, but like due to a lot of children were small, etc., this is the right time that I can jump into this business, and I mean really enjoying it. But definitely, I am struggling to scale up my business to a level I want to. I am with Agent Locator for a year. To be honest, I have not closed even one single deal through the Agent Locator yet, but they were very kind enough to uh, understand and then cooperate with me. So I'm extending it. Obviously, I'm continuing it, but I want to. That's why I joined this session today, because I really want to understand that what is something which is required to basically keep the lead in, so that the lead doesn't go anywhere, like in the sense that obviously you cannot control anybody,
Right.
but the first thing whenever somebody registers on your site
Yeah.
and they are ready to talk, what should be your first line which should basically make the lead think that, okay, fine, this person would help me, or like what I hope I'm able to convey my message to you. Like,
You
I
are.
want to know how to keep the lead with you and not go anywhere else. Like, obviously,
That's a
one
wonderful
thing you
question.
cannot do, you
Yeah.
cannot control anyone. But yeah, but that's what I'm looking forward to understand more and learn more, so that I can scale up my business to the level I want to.
Selling skills is the number one thing that you can use to engage with a client and keep them captivated. Selling skills. Unfortunately, in your real estate school and class that you took, there was no chapter on selling skills.
Yes.
All right. So, all right. Chrissy, thank you so much. I like your comment. You said you like it, positive thinking. Well, good. Let's get into the slides. And thank you, Keenan, and thank you, Nivi, for
No
coming
problem.
and speaking. And please stay right there on the stage. We're going to definitely like you to participate again. This is very interactive. Nivi, we would like for you to help us read the slides. The next slide that I'm about to show you will require some reading, but we're going to go through it very, very slow. So today's topic is I'm a new realtor, or you're an experienced realtor, you've been in the business for a long time, but you really want to know, how do you compete? Nivi says, hey, how do I get engaged with a prospect, a cold lead on Agent Locator website, and cause them to like you, listen to you, want to engage, and don't go to anybody else? How do you do that? Well, we're going to talk about that as we go through these slides. So you want to stay focused and pay attention. Remember, in the lower right-hand corner on a couple of the slides, you're going to find that QR code there. That's for you to have a one-on-one coaching with me directly. Now, Nivi, I'm going to read the first sentence, right? It says here that it says, as a new agent, how can I stand out when competing with more seasoned agents? Navy, would you be so kind to read the second paragraph, please?
Yeah, so one effective way to differentiate yourself is by leveraging the latest technology and social media platforms to market properties and connect with potential clients. Utilize high quality photography, virtual tours, and engaging social media content to showcase listings in a modern and appealing way.
All right, thank you very much. So remember, the question was posed to us. It says, as a new agent, how do we compete? The first thing you want to do is to make sure that you're able to differentiate yourself. And the way to do that is by leveraging what you have out there, which is social media primarily. You also have your community. How do you differentiate yourself? One of the things you could do is make sure that you have your name badge, or you have a t-shirt from your brokerage firm that says, hey, real estate brokerage firm on it. And you start to engage in your community, going to the supermarket, going to put gas in the car, going to pick up the laundry, and engaging in your community. Let people see you and create the awareness. When they look at you and they say, wait a second, you're a realtor, engage and talk. Yes, I am. But practice and make sure you have this elevator pitch. What would you say if someone looking at you, just staring at you? You could say, hey, I see you looking at me. Maybe you're interested in buying or selling a property. Or you could ask them, who do you know that wants to buy or sell or even rent real estate? So using all of these tools in today's society is what's going to help you from standing above the rest. But let's dig a little bit deeper on this paragraph right here. It says social media and technology. Think about it. Most of you here have agent locator. Have you looked at your website, how beautiful it is? How fascinating it is? Look at it's user friendly. There's so many quality features about it. Make sure you showcase it. So if your domain is, let's say, nevysellhomes.com, then you want to broadcast that on your business cards. You want to broadcast it on your social media page. You want to be able to post listings from your website, your CRM on the back end, into the Facebook. You know, I'm going to pause right here and I'm going to ask Benice to just tell us a little bit. Benice, if we wanted to post listings that are on our matrix feed or whatever you call it there, the IDX feed, so to speak, on your MLS. Can you post it from your website at Agent Locator?
There's absolutely a possibility to share any of the listings that you have on your website onto your social media pages. And there's also the possibility to run the ads for that specific listings. We do have separate departments taking care of each of those single things. But for whatever you need, whatever help you need in terms of sharing your listings and make sure that they are being visible by as many people as possible outside of your databases, outside of your current pipeline, just make sure to reach out to our support and they will direct you to the person who can help you with that.
So thank you very much, Benisa, because when you first, I started this real estate business over 21 years ago, and the technology now compared to back then is way superior. You could sit down at your desk and create so much interest in you as a realtor, but you have to put it all together. And when you put it together, it means that you're consistent. For example, do you have a professional looking headshot? Because we're going to talk about branding in a little bit, right? But do you have a professional looking headshot? I'm talking about an image where the people can see your eyes. I'm not talking about a full body image. It's not, that is not good. When you are showcasing yourself, you want to be able to have the viewer look into your eyes and potentially say, oh my gosh, I can trust this person. Don't get, you see some of these realtors out there and they have these photographs of themselves that they're holding a phone, they're this and that, they're holding a computer, they're way far. It's a big blown up picture. Unnecessary. Unnecessary. If that's what you have, you need to change it immediately. But you have to create that presence. Now, what do I say about continuity. What do I mean when I say continuity? In your social media space, it's the same picture that you're using on your business card. It's the same picture you're using on your website. It's the same picture you're using on all your social media profile for business. Keep it congruent, keep it organized, keep it the same, because that is building your brand, and that makes you look strong enough already to compete. Very important. So the second paragraph here, the third paragraph here, we would have Kanin. Would you be so kind to read it? This is an interactive session today. Additionally, start from additionally, please. Keenan, put you on the spot.
You just
Sorry,
click on you.
I was having a bit of a problem with my audio.
Okay. Are you okay to read the last paragraph for us?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Additionally, focus on building strong relationships by providing exceptional selling skills and customer service.
Let's stop right there. We're going to pause right there, and then we'll continue. It says focus. Thank you so much, Kenny. Focus on building strong relationships. What does that mean to you when you hear that? Ask yourself that right now. How do you build strong relationships? Strong relationships are built by you providing knowledge, by you providing trust, by you providing your expertise, by you providing your personality that is so smooth. And you have to build a relationship. That means you are somebody that they can count on. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you say you're going to send a list of properties, send it. If you say you're going to stop by and take a look at this or whatever it is that you're doing, you've got to build the relationship by providing selling skills. Now, Nevi said earlier, how in the world can I get these people that come on my agent locator website? How can I get them to stay with me and don't go to anybody else? And I say to her, selling skills. But what is selling skills? We're going to talk about that a little bit deeper as we move on. I want you to register in your mind and write it down. Who is out there giving you selling skills? And that's the question. Where can you get selling skills? Another website that I'm very, very familiar with is Benisa. If you don't mind dropping the successfulbusinessacademy.org in the chat, that'd be great if that's okay with you. That's a great website that you can go to chat with the robot and ask that robot, how do I get selling skills? Very interesting. Successfulbusinessacademy.org in the chat.
Done.
Thank you. There's a great technology on that site that was just installed, and you can just chat with that robot and just learn about it, because there's nobody else out there wanting to give it to you. Your broker, your mentor. I don't know why you can't get it, but you need it. Customer service. Customer service is exactly what it is here and what it's always been. In my book for 21 years as a realtor, I say to myself, and I say to my teammates, and I say to my coaches and anybody that I mentor, the customer is always right. I'm so sorry. The customer is always right. And I always say to myself, I've got to kill them with service. If a buyer chooses to go with me or to talk to me online, I am just going to kill them with service. I'm going to find out, what do they want to see in their next home? What do they need? In what city? What fence? What kitchen? What floor plan? What do they need? And how they're going to feel when they get it. And I'm going to use that to make sure I deliver exactly what they're looking for when I show them the property. So it's very important that you deliver exceptional customer service. Keenan, please continue. Be attentive. Continue from there, please.
Be attentive. Listen to your client's needs and go the extra mile to ensure their satisfaction.
See, that's exactly what we're saying. Make sure that they're set. Now, when you serve a client, you should always get feedback, obviously. This should be a part of your protocol. You make sure that you're finding out what they're wanting, what they're needing, how they're going to feel about it, deliver it to them, and then ask them, how do you feel? That's the question. How do you feel about seeing this house today? What do you feel about it? And at the end of the transaction, hey, what do you feel about my services? Would you give me a 1, 2, 3, a 5 star? What do you think? And get that rating and make sure they're satisfied. Go ahead. Let's read that last sentence, please. Knowledge is.
Knowledge is also key. Stay informed about market trends, local neighborhoods, and the latest industry developments to provide advice and become a trusted resource.
All right. So 21 years ago when I started as a little snooker booger, as a realtor, I was the guy that was out there, that realtor that was out there driving around the neighborhood. Can you believe it? Right here in South Florida. I would drive up I got up Saturday mornings and I had some breakfast. I put some water in the car and I'm business cards and I'm driving down the streets. I saw the guy cutting the grass and I would pull the car over. Good morning, sir. How you doing? My name is Paul Atkinson. I'm the best realtor right here in the community. Just wanted to introduce myself to you. Who's doing that? Who's doing that today? Very few. Who's capable of doing that? All of us. Why you don't do it? That is a question you ask yourself. Know your neighborhoods and marketing trends. How can you learn market trends? You could look at your own website at Agent Locator. It provides you with market trends. You could subscribe to things on your own site. There's a thing, Benisa, it's called market. What is it called? We have a feature on our site, Benisa, and what is that called? Something neighborhood. Do you remember what it's called by any chance?
Nosy neighbor, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, nosy neighbor. Isn't that cute?
Yep.
No, tell us about it, Benisa. What is nosy neighbor like for us?
Well, aren't we all noisy as people? You want to know like what your neighbor houses looks like. And if you put your house for sale and say, for example, you also see that house is listed in your neighborhood, someone is selling, and maybe from the outside that house can look like yours, and if you're thinking of selling yours, you want to know like, can I price my house, at the same list price? Should I go higher? Should I go lower? And what nosy neighbor allows basically you or your leads in this case is to type in their address, and anytime a house is listed in their neighborhood, in their specific address, a radius around that address, they can receive an email notification. Same way, if you are on a board that allows sold data, for example, TREB, and I'm sure like since most of our audience here is probably from Ontario, most of you are on TREB as well, they can also get email updates when a property is sold. So that is honestly great for, to satisfy their curiosity. And that way also when they see like a for sale sign in their neighborhood, who they are going to think of, they're going to think of their agent because they know they will get a notification, the day after that. And they see the house is sold, same way for that. So
Yeah, that's wonderful. That is wonderful feature for you to learn the trends of the market and these things. Benisa, can we take a look at the chat and kind of see, because Keith and some folks are mentioning something. Maybe we could take a moment before we go to the next slide and address some of the comments. Would you like to do that?
of course. So Keenan was just commenting on the nosy neighbor, and he says that is the real estate version of the neighborhood watch. Absolutely, it is. Keith had a comment. He said, I don't think we do that anymore because social media causes us to insulate ourselves and believe that we don't need to be out there.
I hear you,
There
buddy.
is
Yeah, I hear
that,
you.
but you still need to be on the both sides. You need to be in the real life and you need to be on social media to stay connected to your clients.
Yeah.
You want them to follow you. You want them to be the first thing on their mind when they think about listing their homes as well. So
Yeah. And you know what too, Keith, that this is what I could say to you, Keith, is that having your website from the back end feed and just post once in a while onto the social media a listing that you like basically I would go into the back end of my website, my CRM, and I would go in and I'll look at the property, having a cup of coffee, and say, whoa, this is a nice kitchen. I like the stone. This is nice stone. And I just push it into the social media in my friends. And I say, hey guys, check this out. Check out this property. I like the stone. You ever seen a blue granite countertop like this? And that's it. And then I put, hey, if you're interested, let me know. And that every once in a while to do that. So it's important that you use the social media to your advantage and have that presence. Remember, the thing about the social media is the continuity. So you should look professional and be professional. All right. And you should have a separate one. Obviously, you have a business page and you have your personal page. Networking is crucial as well. Attend industry events, join local business groups, and connect with others that are professionals in the field to build a robust network. Why would you want to network with other realtors? 21 years in this business, and I could tell you this, to go the long haul, there's nothing sweeter than when a buyer that I've shown a property says, Paul, I want to make an offer on this. And I said, okay, great. And I looked down and I said, man, who's the listing agent? Oh my gosh, guess what? It's Keenan. Keenan, what's up? Because you know people. You've had transaction with them. The longer you are in the business, the better it is. But as a newcomer, go to network, meet these realtors, remember their names, maybe save them in your phone or something to that effect. Well, it's not going to hurt if you do a few of them that you like, especially if they're in a different territory. They're in the east side. You could say Realtor John, east side of Ottawa, or east side of here, or wherever. But make sure you stay connected. Now, there's a key thing to networking, and we have a really good training on networking, and we have this movie that we show, and it's like 4 minutes long, pretty nice clip with it's called The Cleaner with Samuel L. Jackson. How many of you have seen that movie, The Cleaner? Has anybody ever seen that? In show of hands, just tell us, anybody seen that movie, The Cleaner? Well, if you've not seen it, we do a training on networking. I did. Hey, who's Keenan? You seen the movie The Cleaner? Oh my goodness. Do you remember, Keenan, when Samuel walked into this networking event and the power pose that he gave and how he was so captivating with a large group of his classmates, maybe 10 people, but he got everybody so enthused and so interested in what he did that they asked him for a business card. So the secret to good networking is to create value in you, my friends. Create value in you, so much so that the people say to you, hey, Nivi, Keenan, Keith, before you go, can I get your card? That's true networking. But how do you build the skill set to do that? Very interesting. Remember, you have to find the resources. In the chat, we've given you 2 websites. On the screen, we had showed you a growth call. You can do that. Go to your broker, go to your mentor, but we're here for you if you need us. You have to build the ability to walk into a room and create such amazing conversation and likability and curiosity that the person actually says, hey, this is somebody I want to stay in touch with. You know what is not networking? Let me tell you what is not networking. When you walk into a room and you're forcing yourself on someone. Oh, hi, my name is Keith, and here's my card. I didn't ask for your card. I don't want it. But you know what? I get it. And I'm sorry. It's just going to go in the garbage because I never asked for it. For the past 30 years, I've been in sales. I've sold cars. I've sold real estate. I've sold U.S. Navy. I was in the military. I've sold life insurance. When I go networking, I put in my pocket a specific amount of cards. Maybe I'll say, if I'm in the mood for 5, I want to connect with 5 people. If I'm in the mood for 10, I'll put 10 in my pocket. And it's going to be in my pocket. And I'm going to walk that room, and I'm going to engage in conversations. And I'm going to be so intriguing. I'm even going to say stuff like, oh my goodness, you know what? I had a client the other day that actually benefited from this particular item that you're talking about. It's creating curiosity because then they ask me, hey, Paul, you said you had a client. What do you do? Well, I'm one of the top realtors right here in the community. Then I will give the card. And even when they ask me, what do I do? And I tell them, I don't just take my card out. They have to ask me for my card. That's important. How do you do that? Finally, create, well, let's go ahead and read this as well. Let me just kind of make sure we cover all of this. Consider finding a mentor who can offer guidance and share their experience. So I mentioned that to you earlier. How do you get this information? How do you get this kind of skill set? You've got to get some coaching. You've got to get some kind of mentoring. Is your broker offering anything for you that can teach you how to do these things? That can role play with you, that can go out with you when you're going to go on a meeting, even if it's on a video call. Or can they be with you in the car and say, calm down, take a deep breath. All right, let's go inside. How many cards you've got? All right, when you finish, call me back or text me how many cards did you give out? Or how many cards did you get people to take from you? That's the most important part. Finally, create a personal brand. Remember we talk about brand? What in the world am I talking about brand? It reflects your unique strengths and values. If you're coming into the real estate industry and you want to work the high end, well, you have to think about how you present yourself. If you want to work the golf community, well, you have to think about how you present yourself. You should be wearing some golf clothes so you could, like resonate with some golfers, right? If you want to sell condos on the beach or something like that, well, you definitely should be beachy. What is your brand? Because perception makes one's own reality. When somebody sees you, they have this thing in their mind that they judge you, they judge us. If you look bummy, they're going to say you're a bum. If you look professional, they're going to say you are a professional. Interesting, isn't it? From the mere fact of just ironing your clothes and making sure that it's not wrinkled is one of the things that you can do to help build your brand. Very interesting. Whether it's your dedication to sustainable living, if it's your expertise in a particular neighborhood, as we just mentioned, or your commitment to first-time home buyers, make sure your brand communicates what sets you apart. By combining these strategies, all that we just talked about, you'll be well on your way of being successful in competing against the experienced agents. Because if you really take a look at what the experienced agents are doing, it's exactly what I'm telling you right here. Now, let's talk about negotiations, because what is competition? Competition is who can sell. That's what it is. Who can sell? Who can sell? That's the true competition. The art of negotiation is for you to build upon or develop your selling skills. That's the first thing you need to do. You want to learn how to negotiate? You must first learn how to sell. Then you should learn how to win each side of the table impeccably. Negotiation is where you're in the middle of the buyer and the seller, and you're bringing them together. You're operating as a transaction broker, or you're in Canada there, whatever you all call it. Or even yet, you are putting together a transaction and you are having to represent the buyer, and you have to negotiate the terms of the contract or a price reduction or a credit for something that's on the ground. How do you do that? You have to have selling skills. And you have to be able to work. When you negotiate, you're negotiating with that buyer to move forward and that seller agent to do whatever you need them to do. It's a negotiation. And you must know how to do that. One of the best ways to learn how to do that is to develop your ability to influence and persuade someone. To influence a human being, if you've ever seen my course or my training on that, influence has some elements to it. Influence says that you are responsible for sending and receiving information. Your tone is low, your tone is low, your tone is high, the way you talk, you're responsible for sending and receiving. That's influence. Another part of influence is you understand that you have to educate and inspire the audience. The audience is the buyer. The audience is the listing agent. An audience can be one person, or an audience could be 100 people. But whoever you're presenting to, you have to be able to persuade them. And persuade them and influence comes from these main things. Sending and receiving, you're responsible for that. You're educating and you're inspiring. So I can't get too deep on it, but at least we could crack a little bit of the ice. The key concepts in real estate sales is the client. Let's start from the left. Client relationship matters. And we talked about that earlier. You want to get your clients to like you, to listen to you, to trust you, and to believe in you. Now, how many of you here know that I am the author of the book, The 5 Steps to the Sale? Does anybody know that in the chat? Is anybody aware that I am the author of a book called The 5 Steps to the Sale? Okay. No one, oh, yes, who are you kidding? What? How you know so much about me? Thank you, buddy. Thank you very much. In that book, I speak about, thank you very much, Lena. Okay, we do now. Okay, yes. I wrote this book that I share with the world about how to use 5 unique steps to build your clients' trust and to get them to like you, to listen to you, trust you, and believe in you, all of that by using 3 techniques. One is the association technique, the other one is the mirroring technique, and the last one is psychological reciprocity. Psychological reciprocity is where you give your client credit for their beliefs. They become morally obligated to give you credit for yours. But you have to think about it right now. In your ability to make that client like you, trust you, listen to you, what can you do right now, today? Where can you get the training for that? Seek it, find it. The next thing we talk about here in the client relationship is you have to find out what their want and their need is. And I'm going to start to write on here. You're going to find what their want, what their need, and what their DBM is. Their DBM is their dominant buying motive. And I speak about that heavily inside of the book itself. When you discover in the conversation step of your sale process what your clients want, what they need, and how they're going to feel, and you get the presentation of the house or the listing presentation, and you show that you know what they want, you know what they need, and you know how they're going to feel, it builds trust, it builds persuasion, it builds confidence. You're closing. So it's very important that you recognize that. This is where the relationship matters. And client relationships, we're talking about them being able to go forward with you and only you. Just like Nivi said earlier, how do you get someone to do that? Well, use your selling skills and your skill set. We talked about this already. Selling skills is for you to have the ability to influence, persuade, and seduce your client. Why the word seduce? If you read a book or go investigate an author by the name of Robert Greene, you'll see that he wrote several books. But one in particular that I want you to pay attention to is The Art of Seduction. Because in that book, Robert talks about the different types of seduction. And you, each and every one of you here today, are drawn to a certain type of seduction. Whether if it's a natural or it's a dandy or a charismatic or it's a Drake, he defines all of these. But there's something that moves you as a human being. You, yes, you. I'm talking about you. We all have it. And when you're in tune with that, it's like this disc. You hear of the disc, learning how a personality trait is by using disc. You heard of a guy named Ty Lopez that talks about personality traits, which is like the aggressive type, the person that is social, the person that is emotional, all these different types. What am I talking about, seduce? When you know what moves someone in business, you're able to convince them, you're able to persuade them. And that's why you need to know these things, what moves someone, because if you recognize it, then you could play that part in that role of the sales process. You're going to keep them coming only to you, and that's exactly what Navy said she wanted to see. It's all about this relationship that you have to build. And all of these things has to be in it in order for it to work. All of these things have to be in it. Now, let's move on to the next one, which is master negotiation techniques. You need to learn how to burn the candle from both ends. And we started to talk about that briefly. How do you burn the candle from both ends? Well, if you're representing a buyer and you are in a capacity of a transaction broker relationship, it means you want to see the transaction close. And that's primarily how I operate for 21 years. So I will definitely influence, persuade, convince the buyer to move forward because I know what they want, I know what they need, and I know how they're going to feel when they get it. And I know the product, the house that I'm showing them fits them. If it doesn't fit them, of course, then I'm going to tell you it doesn't fit you. And then at the same time, I'm persuading them. I'm persuading and influencing and negotiating with not just the buyer, but with the seller's agent also. And that's what we mean when we say burn the candle from both ends. We get deeper into this as we talk into a one-on-one, or as you read into the books and check things out on your own. You're going to see how to do that. So we can briefly touch it today. Let everyone feel as though they are winning. And that's what we call psychological reciprocity, because you're giving people credit for their beliefs. The seller is getting credit for their belief that the price should be higher. Yeah, okay, Mr. Seller, I agree with you. I totally understand how you feel. Others have felt that way. You're saying that the price should be $50,000 higher. Is that correct? Okay, wonderful. Well, the only thing that comes to my mind is when we go 50,000 over, how do you feel about staying longer on the market? Because most of the prices that are priced lower sells faster. Are you okay with that? How do you deal with these things? This is negotiations. Let's talk about market analysis and strategies. As a new agent, you should learn how to do a great CMA. A CMA is a comparative, a comp, comparative market analysis. What do you call it up there in Canada? When you want to comp out a property, or you're going to make an offer, somebody needs to know what would it possibly appraise for, what would it evaluate for. A seller wants to know, hey, what's the value of my property? I always say use the county records or the municipal records of what was closed. That's what we do here in South Florida because we have that data readily, and compare it to the MLS. Because inside of the county records, you will see things that perhaps was not on the MLS. Isn't that interesting? So we recommend when you're doing your comps, make sure you're using all the data and nothing is missing. Don't just count on the MLS alone. You got to keep the trust going, and you need to perform this in front of the clients. That's how you do your market analysis. You want to keep the trust going by doing this in front of them. So if you're going on a listing appointment and the seller says to you, hey, what do you think this is worth? What do you think we should list it at? Okay, let's take a look together. And you show them the active listings, the closed listings, the pending listings, and then you just kind of like hash it out. Well, what do you think? I think you should list it between 1.1 million and 1.5 million. That's the range, I think. Where do you want to land? Never, ever, ever go and do a market analysis and tell a seller exactly what they should list it for. That's a no-no. And if you take a look at some of my recordings, you'll see that some of the coaches that I work with, they really appreciate that knowledge. Keep up with the facts and the trends. And we talked about that earlier. So let's finish up the slides and then we'll take a little bit of a questions. So what is the key to unlocking real estate success? My first book, this one on the screen, that's the very first book I wrote. It's called The Art and Science of the Real Estate Agent, Day One, Close a Deal. And the story is this. When I started in 2003, my real estate practice, the day that I took my exam and passed the exam, I walked back to my office because I was a financial advisor at the time. And I went and got my license, real estate license, to help my brother, who was a mortgage broker. I walked into the office and I said, hey, bro, I got that real estate license. I passed the test. It was about this time, 1 o'clock. He says, I knew you would, bro. Here is a lead. This guy is qualified for $250,000 FHA financing. I said, really? Okay. I took the lead and I sat at my desk and I was calling my people for financial services, give them a call and just went through with that. But after about an hour, I said, okay, let me call the guy. So I went and I called the guy and I said, hey, Patassia, how are you, man? My name is Paul Atkinson. I'm a realtor and I'm Richie's brother. How can I help you? So I had my pen and paper, and the guy says, okay, I want Winston Park. I don't know what that is. Okay, just writing it down. And I want 3 bedrooms. I want this. I want that. I wrote it down. I listened to him very good. Wrote it down. Wrote it down. And then I said, okay, so when do you want to see the properties? He says, how about this evening? Me and my wife can meet you. I said, what? Oh my gosh. I ran to Century 21. Buddy Natis is a friend of mine. I put my license there. I ran to the MLS. I enjoyed the MLS. I did this. I did that. At 6 o'clock in the evening, I had already previewed about 3 to 4 homes, made myself comfortable, get all the fear out of me. And that night, close them. Close it like that. Sold. Can you believe that? Day one, I sold my first house. Day one. So your key to real estate success is in you. You have to apply yourself. You need to get your selling skills up and running if you don't have it. If you have it, you need to brush it up and continue to brush it up. And that's the key. Now, here's a quote. It says, I want somebody to read this quote. Benisa, who could read this quote for us? And then we could finish this up, please. Anybody, who's going to read the quote?
Let's see. Eliana, are you willing to join us?
Okay.
Just
I'm
picking
going
the
to
people.
read it. I can't see, but let's see. Anyone? Keenan, you want to read this for us, buddy? You're a good person. I appreciate it.
Sure, sure. Okay. Funny thing happens in real estate. When it comes back like gangbusters. It comes back up like gangbusters. Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's interesting because many years ago, and this is by Barbara Cochran. I don't know if you guys know her or not, but she's a pretty successful real estate investor lady there and a real estate broker. I think she's even here in Florida. But I can tell you one thing about real estate, and I've been doing it for 21 years. It's very forgiving. And when it goes down, it will come back. When it's up there, yeah, it's ebb and flow, but you have to be consistent in whatever marketing you're doing, in whatever branding you're doing, and you as a selling skill set person, that's important. So real estate agent tips on strategies to use. These are my tips for you. And I'll let you look at the screen and remember the QR code get you into a growth call if you want it. If you don't want it, you don't have to take it. Client engagement strategy. You want to build or grow on, and we talked about it already. And why do I keep harping on it? Can anybody define selling skills to me? Anybody? Keenan, what do you think when you hear the word selling skills? What come to your mind?
It's your natural ability to portray yourself as somebody who can be trusted, somebody who can actually reach out to the other side and make them believe in you.
Yeah,
That's
for
in a
sure.
nutshell.
I believe so. Anybody else has any comment that they'd like to comment on? What do you think selling skills are? Come on, I need some participation. Where are you guys at? Chalking it. Been there. Okay, got that. Okay, Keith. Thank you for seduce, not seduce. Keith, we do now. Okay, what is that we do now?
That is when you asked about your book.
Oh, okay.
We knew.
Oh, thank you very much. Selling skills is the ability for you to influence and persuade someone. There's an art to it, and you must get it. You have to go out there and find it. That's where you're going to stand out above the rest. I promise you, when you close someone and they are happy to be closed, guess what? They're going to run coming back to you always. Nivi, you said, how do you get people to really come back to you and only you? Treat them amazingly well and close them the right way. Close them the right way. Use your selling skills. You got to build and grow on your mindset. As a real estate agent, you have to have the right mindset. You have to have the mindset of a champion. You have to have a mantra that you could say that will build you back up at a flash, because you're going to get put down, beat down. You'll come into the day after putting a contract yesterday, or you got a contract on your listing today, and then tomorrow you wake up and the buyer says, I changed my mind. Oh my gosh, what are you going to do? Or somewhere along the line, 15 days down the line, the appraisal came back, the deal fall apart. How do you put yourself back together? Very interesting. So you have to have these tools, and these are my tips to you. You've got to have the selling skills. You've got to have the mindset. Property negotiation tactics. My tips to you again here is that you must have the skill set. And you got to burn the candles from both sides. And that's what we said earlier. Be able to negotiate with both the people that you're dealing with. And don't get angry. You cannot show your anger. You've got to be professional. You got to learn how to stay calm. You got to learn how to think outside the box, how to get your brain to function when you get angry and not say things. You have to practice that. You don't want to say things that you're not supposed to say. And the only way of doing that is by getting in the ring with someone, maybe in your office, or maybe ask Benisa, or get on one of these websites we provided to you in the chat, and get connected and practice and role play. It's very important that you do that. So let's say that you are wanting to target luxury homes. The best thing for you to do is to know exactly how to do so. And when you're wanting to, and this is just an example, because I get a lot of people that come to coaching and they want to go into $1 million and up. They want to do like 500,000 and up. What are some of the things that you could? You have to make sure that your appearance suits the industry, and we talked about that earlier. Suits the segment that you're going in. Beachy segment, golf segment, high-end segment. You got to look apart. And then you have to have all of your marketing material all in one. Your listing presentation, your PowerPoint presentation, everything that you're doing, it has that one look, that one brand, that one image on there, and it has the name that's right, and the phone number is right, and the website that's right. Everything has to come together. It's very important for you to stand out as a brand new agent, for you to stand out even as an agent, been in the business 18 years. If you don't have all of these things put together, you should put them together very quickly, because that's what's going to give you more and more business. That's what's going to cause your phone to ring, because 80% of the realtors fail. If there's 100 people in this meeting today, okay, 80 of us are going to fail. 80. What the heck? Only 20 is going to make it? Are you serious? But why? Because you have the skill set. You have that skill set of selling, and you have that attitude, the mental attitude that you need. And you've put everything together that we've talked about. So right now we have just concluded, and I am open for any questions. And we have about 5 minutes. So who would like to come to the floor and ask me anything that you want, even into your own business? And this is an opportunity for Nivi, if you wanted to get a little role playing, or a little bit of tips on how to get those clients you're talking to come back to you. I can give you that. If Nivi is still here, I'll do it. Any questions for me?
Let's see. Oh, actually, see, my problem is with the follow-up call. What do you say?
All right.
You want to
Yeah, my problem. Okay, Chrissy says, I'll look in the chat. Chrissy says, my problem is with the follow-up calls. What do you say? Well, tell me, what is a follow-up call mean to you? What is a follow-up call? Follow-up from what? What do you mean?
Like after the call, I say, okay, I'm gonna adjust your search and I'm gonna follow up in a week or two and see if there's anything that any properties that are of interest. But when I call, it's kind of nothing intriguing more to offer them other, right?
All right. Okay. So it's all about the relationship, Chrissy. And what you want to do is put the relationship first. In the 5 steps of the sale, we talk about step 1 being conversation. Step 2 is curiosity. Step 3 is conviction. Step 4 is desire. Step 5 is close. You have to follow the steps systematically. Step 1 says that you're in that conversation stage. And just focus on getting them to like you, to listen to you, to trust you, and believe in you. So when you initiate a phone call or a connection with a client, find some common things that you and them have. Maybe it's their phone number, maybe it's their voice, maybe it's their accent. If you're seeing them at the Starbucks, that's great. You can talk about the clothes. If you're not, you're just making a phone call. Get to know them a little bit. I've even seen some of my coachees and a coachee is someone that I coach. I see my coaches, they're so comfortable to even say on the first conversation, hey, tell me a little bit about yourself. I have one guy, he does that often, but he's really cool with it. It makes him comfortable. So ask people, hey, tell me, you're from Ottawa. Tell me about it. What is it like over there? Hey, you said you're from Toronto. What is it like over there? I'm over in here, Toronto. What is it that you could get them to open up and just relax? You can't just jump on the phone and be like, yes, how many bedrooms you want? No, be a little personable. So the follow-up call would be like this, Chrissy. Hi, Chrissy. Good afternoon. How are you? Hey, it's me, Paul. I just wanted to see how things are going, but did you see the weather lately? I mean, how's it over there? It's been raining on my side of town. How's everything going with you? Or if they said they had a dog or whatever it is, I don't know, but try to get a little bit on the personal side. It takes a lot, Chrissy. I know it takes a lot to build up this ability, but you could do it and you must do it in order to survive. You got to build it up. Any other questions? And well, give me some feedback on that. Chrissy, what is your takeaway from what we've just said, please?
Maybe what questions can I ask to get more personable with them?
All right. Okay. So where does your lead come from first? Where does your lead come from?
Maybe Alberta.
Okay. And that's the name of a town? I mean,
Yeah,
okay.
province.
So probably Alberta. And you're getting these leads from Agent Locator on your CRM?
Yeah.
Okay, great. This is quite interesting. Uh, let's say, I won't even put up the whiteboard because it takes so long. When you have a lead, look at this. Agent Locator gives you a lead. Tell me, Chrissy, what information do you have on the lead? Think about it. Tell me.
Maybe they have a home to sell.
No, 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 no. We're looking for things right now that we could talk about to get them connected with you. What do you see? Name. There's a first name.
Yeah.
There's a last name.
Yeah.
There's a phone number.
Yeah.
There's an email.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Well, sometimes there's a questionnaire if they're a first-time buyer, home to sell.
Okay. Wow, you have more than you need. If you see a first name that says Chris, what would you say to that? Chris, it's Christian.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah.
Okay, Chrissy. What if you see a last name that says Summer, Summer? How ironic. What would you do? What would you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, that's easy, but
Okay. What if it's here's one. What if you see a name John? What first comes to you? John. What comes to your mind? Quickly. What comes to your mind? John. What do you see? John.
nothing.
Do you know anybody named John?
Mm, Not necessarily, no.
Do you know any actors named John?
No.
John
Do you?
Cena.
Have you ever in your life came across a John, work at a John, the church, and the family? Nobody named John?
Oh yeah, I've met a John before, I'm sure.
Okay. Do you remember anything about the John that you possibly met?
Nice guy.
Oh, wow. Can you use that? Now you see the name. Hey, may I speak with John? Hey, John, how are you? This is Summer. This is Chrissy. I'm one of the best realtors right here in the community. I got to tell you first thing though, I like your name. All the Johns I know are nice guys.
Okay.
You want me to keep going? Do you see what I'm saying? Name, first name, last name, telephone number. If you see the first three digits and they are somewhere out of your area, is that something that you could talk about?
Yep.
There you go. You're gonna, you're welcome, everyone. Thank you very much. You're welcome. But remember, these are things that you have to practice and practice and practice. So on the screen, one more time, I'll bring it back up so everyone can get an opportunity to get that road call. It's right there on the screen. You use your camera on your phone and you go and book a road call. Kanan, any other question? Anybody else with any other questions? Because we went over a little bit. And Benisa, then you could close us out. Is there any other questions for us, or do you want to role play a little bit? Thank
Can
you.
I ask one?
Someone else
Can
had
I
a
ask?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yes, you mentioned about when you are giving a comparative market analysis that you always give a range and never a set price. Can you elaborate more on that?
Absolutely. One of the biggest things about making a mistake on a listing presentation with a seller or even with a buyer is we really don't know. If we were to take, let's talk about with a buyer. You could say to the buyer, you know what, in my opinion, the value in this house is between 1 million and 1.2 million. That's the range, I think. The value on this property is 1 million and 1.75. That's my range. So, it should come in, the comp should come in. But let's just focus a little bit deeper. Dealing with the seller and you sitting down at a listing appointment, can you imagine? And do you know that that seller, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, do you know before you got there, before you sit your butt in their chair, do you know that they already have a price in their mind? 99% of the time, they already have a price in their mind. And they want to see who is going to get it for them. So you know what you do? You find a range. What is the highest sale inside of that complex for the comparables of the house itself, 5 bedroom, square footage, whatever? If the highest sale is 1.7, and you could deduct from it what the subject has versus what was sold from the highest sale, you go into a range. I would say this house is probably worth between 1.6 million to 1.7 million. That's the range. That's my opinion. What do you feel you guys wanted to list the property at? That's how you do it, Benisa. Because you want them to tell you in that range what it is. You don't want to say to them, hey, I think you should, in my opinion, you guys should list it for 1.4 million, 1.7 million. What's your feedback on that, guys? Or Benisa, what's your feedback on that?
I've learned so much, Keenan. You were our most active member today, so do you want to share something? Can you hear us, Keenan?
Yes, actually. Yeah, I mean that's the best thing. You don't give them an accurate number. You got to give them a range, which makes them um because I mean it's your opinion. You're not going to give them you're not a magician to give them a number. So
Exactly. Right.
and if you do give them a number and if it's not fixed, if it comes below the expectations or above the expectations, okay, above it's a plus. If it goes
Yeah.
below the expectations, and they'll probably flag you out as somebody who's just running off the cuff and saying things for the sake of saying things, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my take.
So true. That's right. You're absolutely right. Go on a range. Whenever I do a listing presentation, I go on a range and then I ask them, this is my range. Where do you feel you wanted to list the property at? What was in your mind? And ask them that. Very good question.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, I think we can conclude for today.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all for being here today. What we talked about was how to separate yourself and to compete. And remember, just sum things up. You need to make sure that you're building connections with people. You need to make sure that your social media is up and running. You should use it because it's there. It's one of the number one things that you can use today in order to create that presence. I have people that have seen me on social media over the years and just stay in touch, and they become friends. So it's important that you do that. Well, thanks again, everyone. You could use that QR code to get connected if you like. If not, we will see you when we see you. Bye,
I know.
everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Paul. Bye-bye.
Bye bye, guys. Cheers. See you later. Thanks again.